All right, another week of the Coaches Show. As always, we get a chance to sit down and chat with head coach of the Pratt High Greenbacks, Brent Hoelting. Appreciate you joining in as we get to sit down and talk some football once a week with you. Coming off of the big Clearwater win last week, 36-7. Greenbacks come out on top, a big district win, and puts the Greenbacks in position for really where you want to be heading into Week 8. Talk about that Clearwater matchup, though, before we jump ahead here, Brent.
Yeah, this is a good win. I think Clearwater's a solid football team.
Yes.
Their quarterback's really athletic. They got a running back that runs really hard, and they'd played some really good teams to some really good games this year. So I was really proud of our kids. We made an effort all week. We said we're going to be physical. We're going to run the ball. They'd seen spread teams all year. We're going to go right at them. And I thought credit to our line, credit to all of our backs, and credit to Tay, we were able to do just that. We only threw 6 times all night and completed 3. And we were able to just do whatever we wanted to in the run game, as long as, we had a couple bad snaps, and then we had a mess up on, we accidentally called an audible when the guy who's supposed to get the ball was split out wide. And it was a good look. It was a good audible call. It was it was open. It just, we weren't set up for it. So other than that, we didn't get stopped all night. I thought we were efficient. Thought we moved the ball, and then I thought our defense did a really good job after the first couple drives. We made some adjustments and to what they were doing, and were able to shut them down.
Yeah, the defense, started off the game early. The first pass of the game from Clearwater, yeah. Creston Poor with a big interception to start the game off, and then able to convert that into points on a big drive to start things off for the Greenbacks.
That was huge. And Creston coming in got his I think really first start there, and they tried to run something, hit a deep shot quick, get all the momentum, and then Creston took it right away. He did a great job. It was kind of a wheel fade route. He did a great job of playing it, got in his hip pocket, and then went up and made a great play on the ball.
When talking about passing, you guys said you only completed 6 on the night. Clearwater didn't complete a single pass throughout the night, and we talked about it on the radio a little bit during the game, just how that was probably one of the few games so far we've seen where the weather and the wind primarily may have affected some of the play calling on the field that night. Did the wind come into a factor when calling plays? We saw Clearwater take that shot early, maybe thinking you wouldn't expect it with the wind, but on your end of things, did the wind that we were facing Friday night affect the way you called plays?
For sure. I think it hit you a little bit. I think you even noticed, like I said, we only called 6 pass plays. We had 3 completions. Obviously had the interception on the screen, which wasn't ideal. And then, we had one where we missed on a hitch that was open. And then the other one was the play where we faked both bubbles and tried to hit our lead, and we were open on that one. I thought that was one to win.
Yeah.
We got the interference call, so it ended up good for us, but could have been a touchdown if we could have let him a little more. But I thought the wind knocked that ball down a little bit.
Yeah, sure. It was a night that if anybody wasn't there, the wind was howling at 25 mile an hour plus gusts. And so we knew it was going to be a game that featured Tay Wilson on the ground, and that seemed to be the game plan early. Wilson had 24 carries, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. His 6th 100-plus yard game of the season, now has 948 total yards on the season, rushing yards on the season. But that really seemed to be the emphasis going in. It was physical. Tay Wilson set the tone and then branch out from there.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Obviously, when we talk about the Tay's the head of the snake on offense, we know what we're going to get out of him. We've talked about this before, Mr. Reliable. He is tough. He's tough to bring down. I thought we got better blocking as the game went on, but I thought early in the game he was carrying 2-3 guys 4 or 5 yards every play. And that physicality just wears you down. Tay's one of those kids that if you get enough of him, you're not going to want to keep tackling him all game long. And that was kind of a point of emphasis this week. I thought we needed to get physical. We never know how the weather's going to be in the playoffs. We know teams are going to stack it. We still need to be able to run the football. And so I thought we did that, and again, you said Tay led the way.
And Clearwater, a team that hadn't faced a lot of power offenses coming into that matchup against us Friday night, played a lot of teams that run more of a spread, put the ball in the air. So I think hit them with something that they weren't used to seeing as well.
Oh, for sure. And, I know Coach and I were talking before the game, and we were talking about, who can be more physical, and that was going to be a key to the game because they like to run the ball. We like to run the ball. And so I thought I was really proud of how we came out and kind of imposed our will physically on them.
And something else we noticed too, we talked about it, I think, in either the preseason show or shortly into the season, but you'd mentioned one of the emphasis on this season was third down efficiency. The Greenbacks, we had them down for 7 and 9 on third down conversions Friday night. And when you have that type of efficiency on third down, good things happen.
Absolutely. And like we said, we talked about the only ones we didn't convert. We had a bad snap, excuse me. And then we had a play that put us way behind the sticks because it was the oopsie audible. So I thought, 7 out of 9, and anytime we can get in fourth and close, we're gonna like our odds with our offense. So I think that's a key, and I think that was a key on the other side of the ball as well. Is that's something we really focus on, is limiting their third down conversions and then making sure that we convert at a high clip.
It wasn't a ball game though. You look at the final score, 36-7 was the final score, a 14-7 ball game going into halftime. And at that point, really anybody's game. Nobody had kind of grabbed it by the horns and decided they were going to take it home. What was the message in the locker room at a halftime in a ball game like that?
Well, it was a really fast first half. We only had 3 possessions, and the only possession we didn't score on, we had a bad snap down at 1st and goal inside the 10. We had that bad snap. It hit off Creston's leg, and they recovered it. So, my message was just, guys, they haven't stopped us. We've done everything we've wanted to do. I think we're not getting enough chunk plays because we're not getting off the ball hard enough. So the message was, do your job. Just do your job. That's all we have to do. Don't let a team that we thought we were better than hang around because we give them stuff with bad snaps. We give them stuff with, that touchdown for half. Our alignment was wrong 3 or 4 plays in a row. Like, don't give them stuff. Make them earn it. And if we make them earn it, man for man, we're going to be just fine. And so I thought our kids came out, really did that, and I thought we really took control of the game in the second half.
Yeah, that second half into the third quarter there, Clearwater with the chance to make it a 4-point game, lined up to kick that field goal, would have made it a 10-14 ball game. And then Tay Wilson with the huge block on the field goal almost had a chance, it looked like, to get ran back.
Missed one.
Yeah, and caught on the sideline there. But from that point on, really felt like, and that we talked about it post-game in the booth there too, but that really felt like the momentum shifted and stayed on the Greenback sideline after that blocked field goal.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that was huge. Tay did a good job getting that. Owen almost had the return back. I thought from then on we just kind of cruised. We did whatever we wanted. We got a few chunk plays offensively. Started seeing some. They were laying on the field after plays a little bit. I think our physicality took a toll. Obviously, Owen had another. Did what Owen does, and had one of those, and then I thought we were able to kind of cruise into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, on that field goal, it had me wondering, obviously the intent every time to try to block a field goal, block an extra point. Well, you came close to blocking a couple punts too in that ball game. At the high school level, is block always the call? Are you always sending out punt block? Or is there a safe punt return, punt block, or are you going, is it aggressive every time?
There's returns, there's safe. There's blocks, depending on what side we think we want to attack. Same thing with extra points, anything like that, field goals. No, we don't always, depending on situation, we'll play safe. We'll play for a return. We'll play from going for it, or we'll try to block it. So
something else on the special teams too. I noticed this year we've got, Schmidt and Strong back there on punts. Not something I've always seen you do, putting 2 back. What was the adjustment there, the thinking behind putting 2 back? I like it. I think it just covers the field better. And with the 2 athletes that they are, there's no lesser of 2 evils there.
Right. And that's the thinking. We got some incredible athletes that are both really good at returning kicks, both really good in open space. And then I think when you put them both back there, I think the hard part was when we put one back there, it's really hard to cover 53.5 yards a field every time, because it's not like the NFL or college where you kind of know where they're going to kick it.
Yeah.
If they're kicking it deep. With high school kids, you never know where the ball is going to go. And so not only does it give us 2 guys a return, it also gives us 2 guys, if it's a short kick, it's bouncing, to run up, point, yell, Peter, and get everyone away from it. So we make sure we don't have an accident running into the ball and give them a cheapy possession.
Okay. It was just, question had me when I was watching film, wondering, we didn't do that last year, right. But I like it, though. It doesn't let you kick away from somebody, too, when you've got 2 deep threats back there like we do. Run down some stats here on the night. Passing, we mentioned that. Creston Poor, 3 of 6 on the night for 47 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT on the play that you mentioned, the screen pass. On the ground was where the offense was really generated. Tay Wilson, 24 carries for 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. Morrell and Poor each with 6 carries, 55 yards and 32 respectively. And then Caleb Strong, 4 carries, 30 yards, that big 23-yard touchdown. And Windsor with 3 carries and 27 yards. Not much passing there. The ones that did haul one down, Schmidt, Wilson, and Strong. Schmidt with the touchdown there from Poor. But 379 total yards for the Greenbacks. And then when you get on the defensive side of the ball, 5.5 tackles for loss. Gatlin and Kyler Barker both in double-digit tackles, leading the team. Just another impressive outing. And the 2 INTs also, Poor and Schmidt. But that defense, once again, holding the opponent to 7 points, excuse me. Boy, just something to hang your hat on.
And I thought you pointed out our linebackers. I thought Luke was spectacular. Kyler. Kyler has been really impressive as a sophomore. His growth, he is. Those 2 guys have really consistently just been in the right spot. We're always on him to bring force a little bit more, to do some things. And obviously Kyler's really undersized, but man, he's a tough kid. And he is always in the right spot. He always fits the run really well. Really happy to see him do that. And then, like you said, get stops. The tackles for loss are huge. We always have those guys every week. 5.5 tackles for loss puts them behind the chains. They weren't a team just like we are that's not comfortable with that.
Yep.
So then you get them doing different stuff. And I thought that was really big on first down, second down. So yeah, really proud of our defensive effort and something we need to keep going.
On the defensive note too, doing a little digging after that ball game, I believe some records were broken in that ball game as far as Greenback records. I need to dig a little bit more in it or have the fans fact check us on this. But when I look through the record book and these are team records, the most points scored by a team defense was 28 in the 1992 season and the 2004 season, and that pick 6 from Schmidt put the Greenbacks at 30. And all 30 of those are from Owen Schmidt.
And not
so I've got to
believe
that that's an individual record as well. But he's got it for team record, and the most INTs for touchdowns for a team for a season is 3 as well. In the 1994 defense, and again that 2004 defense. And again, all 3 of those, Owen Schmidt. So setting team records all by himself. I would say those are 90% accurate. But yeah, I think etched yourselves into the record book Friday night.
Cool. And we had another one. The Caleb got called back earlier this year.
Yeah.
So tough one there. Hopefully we get a few more.
Yeah.
As the season goes on, that's pretty awesome. And it's credit. I thought what was really awesome. Owen's done some incredible things. That was an incredible interception, incredible catch and return. He broke a few, but what I thought was the best part of the night was our wall. Our kids transitioning and the way Gavin Roop had a monster block. Tay had one that took out about 3 people. The way everyone got back and blocked, Owen did a great job of weaving through there, and then how excited our kids were for it. I thought that was a really awesome moment of the night, and shows kind of the selflessness of our kids and how they're playing ball.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the recognition of the defense. Once they saw that ball was picked off deep and that Schmidt had some room to run, they immediately turned it into a punt and decided to try to set up a wedge wall. And Schmidt recognized it as well, got to the Greenback sideline. And then it was miraculous from there.
Right. And that's something we talk about is working on. We get to the sideline, unless you pick off a flat passer going, get to the sideline and then we'll set up a wall. That's what we work on that. That's why you yell, Oski, you intercept it, everyone transitions, and our kids did an incredible job.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see. It was a fun one to call, as most people have seen. Some more awards now. Let's see. We always go down the awards for the night as we see if ours match up with yours. Now I know we missed one here, and again, you have the privy of going back and watching the film. We didn't see this one, and we might not line up on all of them. But our State Farm Player of the Game for Friday night's ball game, we have Tay Wilson. The offense really just went through him on the ground. It mentioned his 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. There was a few others that were in the running for it, but we really felt like the way that game played out and just the impact that he had, the usage. Tay Wilson was our State Farm Player of the Game.
Obviously we give the offensive and defensive player of the games. Offensive was Tay. We thought, he had a great, and Tay's always going to be in the running. We know that. He knows that. But he was the offensive player of the game. I thought he really imposed his will. Luke Gatlin, you mentioned, was our defensive player of the game. Thought he had a spectacular game. And then we as a coaching staff thought overall, if you watch back on the film and just impact every play he was in and how hard he played. And when he plays, to be quite honest, that hard, he is a monster. Hudson Rector was our MVP of the game. He stopped everything all over. They couldn't run anywhere inside when he was in, and then he blew some absolutely massive holes open on offense. Thought he just imposed his will on the game.
And that was, before I run on to the next award, you mentioned Hudson Rector. That was a new wrinkle we saw in that offense, having Hudson Rector line up as the blocking back, where we usually see Jack Barker down there kind of breaking the hole open for Schmidt and Poor back there in the backfield. This time, Hudson Rector in the backfield there a little bit. And boy, if you're Schmidt or Wilson or Poor in the backfield, and you see Huddy lined up there, you got to think a big hole's coming.
Well, and that's what we told them. That's kind of something we did. We thought, their backs are a little undersized backers, and said, all right, you want to go block somebody. And Jack's done a great job there, but called our heavy package, get in there and say, all right, Huddy, we'll come right down the hill at you. And you got to either go around him or you got to hit him. And when you're 170 pounds and you want to hit him, you're not going to like the results. Because he will get downhill hard. And so it's something we've been tinkering with and a few other things. And I thought Huddy did a phenomenal job there, just going straight downhill. He's a tough guy to handle.
Yeah, he is. And that was the one I think we missed now as we get to our Meade Lumber hit stick of the ball game. We had on that interception return that we were just talking about, Gavin Roop had a huge hit that kind of freed that up to get Schmidt around the edge and start that play. And that's the one that we saw. So our Meade Lumber hit stick of the night went to Gavin Roop on that. But going back and watching film, there was another one that might have got it had we seen it in real time as well.
And Gavin's was incredible. We told him, like, man, Gavin, you kind of got hosed because most games that's a hit stick. It was incredible. And you want to give it to him, but then on Caleb's touchdown run, Huddy actually was a guard, but he pulled and kicked, and you can remember it because there was a guy that laid there forever and didn't.
There was two of them,
and they picked him. Well, Tay got one, but Huddy really, in fact, the funny part, I said Creston was checking. I'm like, Creston, what are you checking on their guy in the middle of a play? He's like, Coach, he was making this sound I've never heard before, and his eyes were rolled back in his head. He was like, I thought he was in trouble. He's like, I was checking to make sure he's going to be alive. So Huddy,
and he did get up, come off the field. Yeah,
and Huddy, he got him good. He when it was one of those, he pulled on a counter, and the guy didn't quite see him quick enough, and Huddy ear-holed him, and it was a heck of a hit.
You can bet his head was on a swivel after that one. All right, and then our Farm Bureau fan of the game, we gave it to all the everybody in the crowd. Everybody night, Friday night was senior night. It was also pink out night for the Greenbacks, and everybody that participated and partaked in that cause showed up in pink. Was our fan of the game. It's a cause that I hold very near and dear to our heart, and so do many others. So we thought, everybody that decided to come out and show their support, wear pink, deserve a fan of the game.
Absolutely. And we talked about that pregame, when you have, I know some of them do. I know I have some family members battling cancer. I thought that was pretty cool, the United show support, and it was just a neat atmosphere.
Yeah. It's always something neat, and always just gives you a little tugs on the old heart there.
It does.
Practice player of the week, the ones we don't give out.
Yeah.
Finish running down your awards.
Special teams player of the week, again, we'd already given offensive today. We talked about his front, but I thought putting the ball right where we wanted to, I thought Levi Tebow had a great game. He's coming on as a kicker every week, legs getting stronger. And then we asked him to directionally kick some, and I thought he did a really good job. So we gave the special teams player of the week to him. Scout team player of the week, again, you hear me talk every week. Those guys are unsung heroes. Matthew James, he's really come off freshman. And, when you're a freshman and you're not huge and you're running the ball a ton and giving a good look, that's hard to do. It's hard to ask of us to ask. We feel bad doing it. Someone has to do it. Matthew never complains. He gets in every time, and is never a kid that we have to look on the sideline and say, hey, Matt, are you going to get in? Like, he's always in. So he's doing a great job, and he's our scout team.
Yeah, going to be a fun young Greenback to see come up into the varsity level in the years to come. All right, now on to the matchup for Week 8. That is the Cheney Cardinals. The Cardinals 6-1 coming into this ball game, same record as the Greenbacks, and huge district implications on this ball game. The winner of this game likely to be will be the 2 seed in our district. Collegiate is going to have the 1 seed wrapped up, but a big ball game. And the Cardinals, boy, a team that the Greenbacks have not favored well against over your tenure, 0-4 against the Cardinals. So a matchup that. It's a tough one every time we've got them on the schedule, but at some point in the season, if you want to have a long, deep run in the postseason, you're going to have to go through Cheney.
Yeah, they've been, along with Andale, they've been the standard program. They've been in the semifinals or the state finals, won the state title last year. They've got probably the best player in 3A in Burdick, their quarterback. They're really well coached, fundamentally sound. They do everything right. And they've had some really good talent. Their last year's team's got a guy at KU, a guy at K-State, a guy at Missouri Southern who was really, really good. And I don't know where else everyone else went, but they're a high-level football team. Like you said, they're one of the best teams. They've been ranked the top 5 in the state all year. So it's one of those games we talk about. If we want to belong in that tier, it's a game you've got to win. You got to compete and you've got to win games like that. If you want to be recognized in that tier and being in the top tier of Kansas 3A football, because out west we know, it's really tough. Our district is the toughest in the state. We know that. Big game for a home game, and it's going to be exciting.
I can't imagine there's much more than what you just said to get your players motivated for the week against Cheney with the success that they've had against us in the past. I doubt it does a whole lot to say, guys, I shouldn't need to get you motivated this week to play this ball game.
Correct. It is one of those games. If you can't get excited to play in games like this, that's why I told him, like, these. I told him after practice today, I said, these kind of games are the games that make working so hard for the other 9 months of the year worth it. Football is one of those, you work so dang hard and you only get 9 guaranteed games. These are the games that you live for and are worth it because they're so fun. You've got, we think we're one of the best teams in the state. We know they're one of the best teams in the state. Good matchup and with huge postseason implications on the line.
Yeah, a lot on the line Friday night, and we'll get into the X's and O's off the record. So we'll save that for off the air, Coach. We look forward to calling the game Friday night. It's going to be a big one for the Greenbacks. An easy drive for Greenback fans, so get over there, root on the Greenbacks. Best of luck to you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right.